Everybody's going to be trying to listen for the random voice in the background today. It's not.
Yeah, he's not here.
When he came in front of the camera, that shit was the wildest stuff. Yo, he's the best. That was funny to me.
You're like, you need to hire him full time.
Hire him. We don't even get paid. How's he going to get paid?
I was going to say, just another person that I eventually have to put on the payroll.
Oh, our payroll is getting long.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to get paid before we actually get paid.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We will be the last people to get paid.
Yeah, that's usually how it works, right?
Yeah.
When you're the boss?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
no comments from the back today. Back
quiet.
to normal. I don't know if you guys can handle that. It was quite a change. It was a very good podcast.
I thought it was.
I listened to it right through. No complaints.
it was much better than 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, we sucked 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were terrible.
No, we didn't suck, okay? It was like every classic album has
Don't-
a... No.
Don't defend it.
Yeah, no, I'm totally going to defend it. Because every classic album always has a couple tracks that everybody skips over, right? That could have just been one of our bad tracks.
That was like a track where you just look at the title, you're like, yeah, pass. This one's definitely not it.
You're
Yeah.
7 seconds in and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, nope.
I was trying to
Next.
change that too.
Next.
I was like, what's wrong? Like, I was there, but it just sounded.
I always love when we have guests and see how they are towards the end.
Yeah.
Because I think people really take for granted how it's not difficult, because I obviously like enjoying talking to you guys, but after 2 hours of sitting in one spot,
Yeah.
you start to get a little antsy and
Yeah. I was really thinking about it. I was like, wow, we really talked for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Well, don't tell them that,
Okay.
because they all think it is. You gotta let them find out for themselves.
easier said than
Everyone's
done.
starting a podcast nowadays.
Yeah.
Everyone.
It's a cool thing.
It's a cool thing to do.
But this platform is a little different.
Yeah, it's a bit different. We're kind of different than everyone else. We're not the same.
It's good to be different.
We're actually
Unique.
besides being unique. You're
Okay.
right. We are unique. We've been doing this for a year now, Fabs.
Wait, whoa, is this like our...
And well, technically it was like the third. I was looking at it yesterday.
I think we deserve
the iTunes like episode 1. Episode 1 was like February 3rd. I was like, oh wow.
It's been a year already?
Fabs has come a long way.
Jeez, a year.
He remembers his first episode.
Yeah, for sure.
And Dan, we're gonna bring the champagne when we get to a year with you.
It's sitting in the fridge.
I hope it's not sitting there for that long.
Hopefully we have a new reason to bring it up before that.
Yeah, before that.
Well, let's hope.
That's a long time from now.
Well, before Dan hits a year, we'll probably hit 100, so
Oh yeah,
I'd
that's
hope
right.
so.
we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I just want to throw that out there.
We're trending in the right direction. I like to say there's been growth across all platforms. Yourself, myself. More so myself, I'd like to say. You're more so the veteran in this
Yeah, you are.
this situation.
Grizzly.
I'm just the guy that sits in the middle.
We can change that. You can sit in this seat.
No,
if you
we
want.
we got to keep it like this.
This is our standard look.
Yeah, because my neck can't go to the left, only to the right.
Hey, you know what? My
I was waiting for like a really good reason why.
No, I just came up with the most ridiculous reason as to why I don't want to sit over there.
and you know what? It's funny because my neck only goes to the left.
See, it works out.
I was doing that at one point, and I was like, shit. I watched it once. I was like, I'm not even looking at Dad. I was like, I'm gonna look at you.
Well,
Well, sometimes I just space forward and I don't look at anybody.
I was like, I gotta do better. Yeah, it was a great week, great weekend.
lots of footy.
I'm not going to talk about what's happening outside right now because last week,
last week we couldn't even record on this day.
Last week I didn't know if we're going to get outside. I didn't know if we're going to be able to go outside this week. And now this week I could go out there with like a t-shirt.
Yeah,
crazy.
Mother Nature, she's confused.
No, I'm just telling you the world's going to end. We're getting there. Sorry, guys.
I can't really argue that much of that at this point.
Yeah, it's gonna fall off whatever we're hinged on right now, and just don't want to be. I don't have any scientific proof.
We should have had this conversation last week.
No, yeah, that podcast would have been 4 hours. I'm telling you that there's no way it should be snowing like it did last Monday and being the way it is today.
No,
warming. There's a big problem.
Or like a 30-degree swing from one week to the next.
Yeah,
because it's not even the snow thing. It's like a 30-degree swing.
Yeah.
If that's not telling, then I don't know what we got to do.
Yeah, I'm getting the hell out of here.
It's time for us humans to do a little better.
Yeah.
If we can get behind an egg I think we should get behind the usage of less plastic and
How's that?
carbon emissions. And
How's that egg doing, by the way?
I have
Fried.
no idea. He's been sitting on that one.
Yeah. He's waiting for us to bring it back up.
Yeah,
Yo, that egg
hang
has
on.
more.
You get a Kawhi laugh for that one.
Thank you.
That egg has more fans than we'll ever.
Yes. Yes. If we could ever beat a Kardashian in anything,
Oh, that'd be the day. That would be the day we bust out to the champagne.
a few bottles of
Oh,
champagne.
you just wait, huh?
What are the kids drinking in the clubs now?
I don't want to know.
I haven't gone in
Ace of
years.
Spades or whatever.
I don't want to know. Yeah, they were for a bit. I don't
Yeah?
know what they do now.
Huh.
Like I said,
Water.
no, that's
No.
me. That's me. I'm the only guy. People are like, put their finger in my drink. I was like, don't put your finger in my drink, sweetheart.
What?
That has happened before. I'm like, she's like, what do you do?
Somebody put.
Long story short, she was gonna buy me a drink. Don't ask me how that worked out, but it worked out. And I'm like, I'm drinking water. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I wouldn't lie to you.
Wow.
What's your finger in my drink?
Wait, now the real question is, did you finish that glass of water?
We're not
You
talking.
c-
We're not talking.
It was a good night, people.
Her
It
finger-
was a very good night.
Her fingers were cute.
That's so wrong. But I'm not shaming anybody who likes fingers, who likes feet.
I really don't.
That's your thing.
I really don't. But there's something about the finger of the drink. I was just like, oh, I'm still drinking water, but you can get what you want.
You know when I said we were different, we're different.
Yeah, we are.
I don't know what other footy podcast you're getting that.
Nope.
You're not getting any of that.
Dude,
Goodness.
Before we get into more outlandish stuff, are the mics on?
I'm glad everything was on to capture that moment.
Mics on, cameras
Yeah,
on,
we're good.
soundboards on.
Yep.
It's the InnerViews Podcast, episode 56, live and direct from Toronto. It's your guy, Tyrrell. We're kind of getting really into it because it's been a really busy week, but I am not alone. No guest this week. I'm here with Fabs, Dan. We're about to get it. There's no snow on the ground. It's not that cold. It's very warm. I almost came outside with a t-shirt. So that means that, like, I don't know what that means.
Because who knows what next week's going to hold.
Next week.
The parka's going to be on.
Yeah. Anyhow, we're here live and direct. This is the best soccer/footy podcast in the world and in Toronto. Organic, unfiltered soccer analysis. Quick turnaround. We're here Thursday. YouTube people, we're getting both podcasts out at the same time. It's been a really busy week.
You can't expect all this from us in 3 days.
There was at some point where I was like, I need to get the whole podcast out on YouTube. And then
And the fact that it was like the longest one we've ever recorded too
longest
didn't help.
podcast we ever did, craziest week we've ever had, and I was like, shit, they're gonna have to wait. But they like the TFC talk, did they? Yeah, good.
Yeah, I think people are enjoying our little podcast segments.
Yeah, it's
So we'll
about
try
time.
to keep them coming to you on the YouTube side.
It's about time. But anyhow, I want to ask you guys how you're doing, but I'm not gonna do that this week just because I feel like I get your vibes now. I know when you
Okay.
guys have something to say. I know
Okay.
when you really don't have anything to say. I'm pretty sure you guys didn't do much this weekend. If you did, surprise me right now. Surprise me, surprise me, surprise me, surprise me.
And you're not going to be
surprise me.
surprised.
No.
Nothing really, because you were busy with all these games. And then Sunday was a Super Bowl. I
Uh-huh.
know Dan had his little low-key spontaneous party with the crew.
In Hamilton.
And we're not supposed to say that. Well, you just made it yourself. I was gonna say in the West.
No.
The home of Forge.
I was about to say, yeah.
Shout out to Forge FC. And you got a jersey yet?
No.
Do you?
Wait. I don't even think their jerseys have been released, right?
Yo,
I don't think so, actually.
if I'm Forge FC, I'm mailing all the jerseys to the entire city. Or is Hamilton's
you're-
a city, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like
So
you're
they
giving
It's
away
over 500,000
freebies.
people.
Really?
Yeah.
I see it as a little town. But
No. You and someone else, but
How
that's fine.
how many people fit in that stadium
I believe
or the
it's-
stadium they're playing in?
I think it's around 32.
Really?
32.
Yo, whoa, they
So-
got more people than BMO?
That stadium is
They gotta move.
Those
TFC to
Tiger Cats are doing something right.
They gotta move TFC to Hamilton. This is crazy. I believe you though.
Wow, that's impressive. So do you
sorry,
think
I lied. 24,000.
Okay,
that's still a decent
that's still
number?
good
Yeah.
for Hamilton.
The fact that your total population is 500,000 and you got 25,000
Yeah,
you can fit in there?
that's great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hamilton.
Yeah, shout
We're
out to
doing
them.
big things.
Good
The
for
hammer.
them.
Fabs, you watched the Super Bowl?
Bits and pieces. I made my move at halftime, so I didn't watch any of the halftime show.
Okay.
I have no idea what I missed, what I didn't miss. All I seen was pictures of Adam Levine, and
Yeah, he's
somebody on the internet said he looked like a Chipotle bag, and that really made me laugh. I'll give. Sometimes I don't even read stuff. I go instantly straight to the comments.
yeah.
Like on Instagram and stuff, and I just read people's comments because there are some clever people out there. Like I wish I could have like put two and two together and been that guy. I'm not that clever.
So I guess I didn't watch it. I think I'm one of the only people that didn't watch it last night.
Well, you saved yourself 2.5 hours.
Yeah. But I expect you to tell me that.
Yeah, it was awful.
I expect you to tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. People that I ended up talking to about it weren't that thrilled. I'm just thrilled because, my guy Thomas and Bill. Is there a longer way to say Bill? Or just Bill?
No, I think it's
William.
just Bill.
William. He's definitely not a William.
No,
he's a Bill.
He's an angry Bill.
He's Bill. Shout out to them. 6. And yeah, man. I spent my Sunday low key in the city.
He's been to more finals than like some teams.
Yeah.
That's absolutely ludicrous.
So one of my buddies asked me, who's not an NFL fan. He asked me, he was like, so what was that game like? I know he's a footy fan. He's a Serie A fan. So I said, picture watching Spal against Benevento. And he's like, oh, it was that bad? I'm like, yes.
Wow.
That would be the honest comparison.
You know what? But the people that watch like a World Cup final and they see a 0-0 that goes to PKs, they probably feel the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't be like,
Yeah, that's why I can't kill them.
no, not at all.
Because what final recently was like that?
The
Argentina,
the Germany one?
Germany. They're
Yeah,
probably like,
it went to what 116th minute.
Yeah.
this
before somebody
this
scored?
wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of I cut them some slack. I know when you think the Super Bowl, you're expecting like a big game or like the one where Brady came back against Atlanta, like some
Yeah.
drama.
There's usually something at the end of the game.
No, this one was no.
I just think that it's wild that you can go all those minutes and you didn't even get into. They never got into the Patriots' red zone.
No, it didn't.
That's absolutely insane.
That's-
Which speaks testament to them and
Yeah.
the defense they could play.
Yeah, you're not a fan of defense? No, I'm joking. I'm not attacking you.
What's that corny?
A lot of people said the same
Defense
thing.
wins
I
championship.
was gonna say the corny
Yeah.
defense wins championships.
Oh, I got a lot of cordy shit to say about people saying cordy shit. If that makes any sense. But
I kind of got kind of like readdress something.
Go ahead.
was it about me speaking in code or
No, not you speaking in code. It's like you're gonna get shit from us here that you're not gonna hear otherwise. So, and recently
put
a lot
of pressure on us?
no, but recently, I feel like people think like we say things just to get a reaction, or like we say Juventus isn't playing well, or we say Liverpool isn't playing well, and then 2-3 weeks later things start to happen, and people are now looking back and saying, "Oh, wow, Liverpool aren't looking good. Look what's happened in the last weeks." We've been saying this for like 3 months. We've been waiting for it.
I know.
So we're sitting here not surprised,
No.
not surprised one bit of anything, and everybody's like, "Oh, shell shocked."
Welcome to my life. You think I've been doing all these years? I feel you 100%.
It blows my mind. Like we don't
feel
say things just to talk bad about your team.
No.
Yeah.
I have no invested interest in
Yeah.
anybody's side.
And a lot of people think
neither
that
do I.
we'll post you on Instagram.
As I wear a Porto shirt as I sit here.
Who does this guy think he is? I feel the exact same way. And I definitely, and I think I can speak for all of us, we definitely don't want to be the people that are speaking for views or to be in the moment, to say something that's, what sparks people's attention. Yeah, the views would be nice. But like, I'm not going to say something completely out of the norm just to get you to react to it.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here to do.
No.
We're here to tell you what it is.
And even when we do say ridiculous shit, it's usually not very far off.
Yeah.
Like Dan's been preaching Spurs. Spurs sit second. Like that's not crazy outlandish. Like we've been saying, where's Dybala? Where's Dybala been for the last 4 months?
Yeah.
Like we're not saying things just to say things.
No. And look, I mean, everybody knows that Juventus is my team, but I don't cape for them on this pod. I tell it the way it is. Dybala hasn't been playing
Hang
well.
on. I like the
they-
fact that Dan used the word cape.
You've come a long way.
Damn.
Thank you.
Damn.
Laura would be proud.
She'll listen to this tomorrow morning or whenever we upload it.
Well, she'll text you, what does cape mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, she knows that definition.
She's been sending him words like,
Yeah.
"Dad, use this one."
Yeah, exactly. She's the smarter of the
Urban Dictionary
She's
link.
the smarter of the two siblings. Let's be honest.
That's good stuff.
But yeah, no, you have. I mean, I agree with you, Fabs. We've been honest. People don't like it, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, no teleprompter, no one in the back pressing record and telling us what to say. Nah,
The
we're here
people we have in the back in front of our camera.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
We really got, we're just going to keep it how it is. Real, organic, unfiltered soccer analysis. That's why I always tell people that we're the best soccer/footy podcast in the world, and find someone else that's saying what we're saying, but really saying what we're saying.
Don't shoot the messengers is my advice.
Oh, don't worry. We got a lot of time for this. We got a lot of time for this. Anyhow, a lot of stuff happen this week? Super Bowl, 21 Savage got deported.
He's British.
Um
I'm just confused how nobody knew.
We
Just in this day and age.
This 2019. How don't you know? How do you pick now to go about that?
They're moving in certain ways, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. I feel like it's strategic.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the person. I don't want them coming after me.
I ain't got nothing for nobody to see.
Anything else happened this week that really caught your eye outside of footy before we get into it?
You know what? Because it's still sports. Anthony Davis is the headline maker.
How do we feel about the players? The players literally in the NBA make the rules.
Yeah.
And in every other sport, it's usually the owners kind of make rules. Media dictates what certain things are said. But in the NBA, it's the players make the headline.
Yeah.
Well, you could blame LeBron.
You know what? I'm not a big fan. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of that players conform together to make super teams like your boys in the Golden State Warriors.
Oh no!
No. Listen, that's your boys. Don't tell me that they're not.
It's not that they're not my boys.
Okay.
It's the fact that they did it the right way and people are upset about it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying they're one of those super teams.
Well, but they did it the right way.
Okay,
They did it the right way.
Sure.
No one they didn't form that. The owners formed that.
Yes. Okay.
And they always wanted to get the free agent that they ended up getting.
Yes.
And they got him.
But I'm not I'm not a basketball fan or I like the Raptors, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan. If I'm the Raptors, I don't sell everything that I have just to bring Anthony Davis for half a season to Toronto. That's my view. I mean, I could be completely wrong, and I don't know basketball, but it doesn't make any sense to me that you're going to mortgage the house just to get this guy in, and he may not pay off for you, and then you have nothing.
I was gonna say, from what I've heard, this might be their only chance. So.
Yeah.
Well, there are two sides to it. I want to answer your first question and say that I blame LeBron and I blame the commissioner that has no balls to tell the players what to do and put his foot down.
But for him, it works because the NBA is like at its highest point.
Yeah, but buddy, how do I forget his name? Previous GM or previous owner would never allow this to happen. Hence why Chris Paul didn't go to the Lakers when Kobe.
Silver?
Not Silver. Before Silver. Silver's a loser. Silver has no spine and lets the players do whatever the hell that they want.
Was David Stern?
Yes, David Stern. There we go. Shout out to David. The Raptors, on the other hand, the reason why they can go about it, because I thought about it and that was my initial approach, is the fact that they can invest, because I don't think Kawhi's staying either. So they can do that, and it just depends on what they have to give up. Because at the end of the day, if Davis does want to leave, then they could still use him as a trade option and pick up whatever they could get from most likely Boston or LA.
So what you're saying is use him as like a 6-month or 3-month rental.
Yeah,
ship him off next year.
That's what a lot of teams are going to be able to do, because if it is Boston that they're going to be willing to trade with, then Boston has so many assets that they're willing to give up that you don't really get hit that hard. And if it is LA, they still have a lot of pieces that you could still get back and it won't hit you that badly.
Doesn't
But that's
it-
the only reason why I would say that the Raptors should do that.
Doesn't it change though if you're Boston and you're dealing with Toronto?
Yeah, I was
Because
gonna
then they're
say.
in your division. You don't want to give them as big of a haul as you're going to give
Well,
LA.
that's the only.
Or-
Boston has to look at it as Boston
Well-
wants Anthony Davis, and they were going to be willing to give up whatever they had to get him. So it's either they do that or they lose him to LA, which it already seems like he's going to LA anyways. So, but he is the big talk, and I don't think he's as good as the media and a lot of people make him out to be. So it'll be interesting to see how that does go down. But at this point, it's for LeBron at least, we knew what we're gonna get when he went there. It was do whatever you can to win now and topple Golden State. So that's his answer. And they do share the same agent, so
That all makes sense.
so that's how it goes. But yeah, that's enough basketball. That's a basketball talk for today. This is definitely not the podcast that you want to
No.
go to for that.
No.
Nothing really excited happened in my life this week, so I don't really have anything else to really.
No interesting stories.
No interesting stories because we got a lot. There are, but I feel like if I get into them, then we're gonna have to run deep into
The night?
our time. Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm trying not to do that this week. So if you're looking for the interesting stories, you got to come back next week. We will have them for you.
Come back on the international break.
Come
Yeah.
back on the international break where we have nothing
The
to talk
next
about.
month is going to be busy as shit
Yeah,
for us.
but we'll try to sneak them in, but not this week. So if you guys got nothing to say, we got to give a shout out to the YouTube subscribers, the Facebook followers and likers, those on Twitter and Instagram that follow what we do. We got to give a shout out to the Clip Draw Gang, the Grizz Gang, Team Grizzy, Fabs' De Gea clan. I don't know why, but I feel like I got to shout them out because eventually we're going to kill them. Shout out to Dan, whoever's caping for Dan and whoever Dan capes for, because I think that's important. Shout out to those that are enjoying the beautiful weather. Shout out to all those that were sitting in traffic with me while we're trying to get downtown. I guess they're all going to Leafs games. Shout out to the employed, the unemployed, singles moms, single dads. Shout out to everyone. That's what I'm going to say. Shout out to the Toronto Soccer Podcast. Shout out to those in Toronto with their podcast, doing what they're doing. Shout out to all the podcast makers,
Shout out to everyone chasing what they want.
all the creatives,
Yeah, there you go.
all the hardworking people, the 9 to 5s, the 8 to 4s, the 7 to 3s.
The people who put in that extra little work for trying to achieve something they really want.
Shout out to the person calling Fabs right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
You're interrupting the podcast, and he is lucky. I would totally pick it up if it was near me.
Definitely not.
If Fabs would be like,
She'll be so confused.
that
poor
would be a
thing.
moment. But like I said, shout out to everyone. This is the best soccer/footy podcast in the world. Organic, unfiltered soccer/footy analysis. This is the place to be. Shout out to Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, all the people on the Android devices using whatever Android apps you guys got to use. We got to give you guys a big shout out. But with that being said, since we really don't got much to talk about this week because we were hit with a lot of soccer games to watch, soccer/footy games to watch and break down this weekend, it's that time. Fabs, you know what it is. It's the InnerViews Podcast, episode number 56. I'm pretty sure it's 56. We got a lot of stuff to break down, and I think that we're all in a good place to really do this week. Last week was really good, and I feel like right now, we know where we're going.
Trending in the right direction, I'd like to say.
Yeah, we know where we're going.
Do we?
Actually, I don't know where we're
Good.
going because we could have started today, or we could have started from yesterday.
No. We're
We're starting today.
starting. I'm throwing a curveball.
Okay, whatever. What do you want to talk about?
We're
Dan?
starting with Germany.
Whoa.
If
Whoa.
what's his name? How do I forget
Jimmy.
his name? Yeah. Did Jimmy put you up to this?
No,
Okay.
but I feel
Jimmy's been tired of waiting till the end
Yeah.
of the
Jimmy's
podcast.
like, yo, you guys gotta do something. I don't want to have to skip through it. Okay.
let's start a little curveball.
Okay.
Start with Germany.
Take it away, Dan. Tell us what happened. You got to set this. You got to set the stage,
All right.
buddy.
The floor is yours.
You got to set the stage.
I'll start with Bayern, and then we'll go to Dortmund after. But
Why are we starting with Bayern?
because I like them, and a shout out to Jimmy.
So he did put you up to this.
Hey, Jimmy, man. Jimmy, man. You know we're gonna start with Bayern when they lose.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard we have to come visit you, Jimmy. I haven't met you yet. But
So yeah, let's start with Bayern. If I'm being honest, they played decently well in the first half, and then completely opposite the second.
Surprise.
Yeah, but what's his name? Who scored?
Goretzka.
That was, for me, that was my kind of my kind of goal, because that's the kind of player that I'm not going to compare himself to me, but
I was gonna say
no. But he made a fantastic defensive play, then goes up field and scores with that nice header on the other side. But I mean, look, this was a game that Bayern can't drop points in, and like I said, they looked very good in the first half. They had tons of chances, dominated the play, but that second half, I mean, that's a different Bayern team that comes out there, and if you want to be in the title race, which I still think they are, because Dortmund does what they do, and drop points. You can't come out flat in that second half and perform the way they did in that second half.
But now the thing is that Bayern, they moved to third because Gladbach won, right?
Yep.
They sit 7 points back. You know how I feel about points right now. My thing is that I keep waiting for these young cats to really do something and like really kind of engage in that pressure and kind of fall short. And for some,
well, it was their chance this weekend.
Yeah, it was their chance.
But it's funny.
I feel like that's the narrative of the whole weekend.
Yeah,
is that there were chances for a lot of teams to make up ground, and very few did.
Yeah,
or pull away.
A little bit of both, right?
Yeah,
right. Because at the end of the day, it's on both. Dortmund missed a chance to potentially put the nail in the coffin in the season,
right?
But at the same token, Munich missed the opportunity to get back in there, because the difference between 7 points and the difference between 5, I think mentally is massive.
Oh yeah, and I it's almost what we said about, and we'll get to Liverpool later, but it's almost that same thing that happened with Liverpool when City dropped points to Newcastle, and then Liverpool ends up drawing to Leicester.
Yeah.
This was the same thing. Bayern dropped points, and Dortmund don't take it full advantage and only pick up one. But I mean, look, like I said, this was a good performance by Bayern in the first half and a completely opposite performance in the second half. They were completely dominated in the second half.
But you have to look at it. That's not an easy ground to go to. I also don't think that's their best 11 that they could play. And we've always had an issue this season with Kimmich and Goretzka playing in that midfield. I don't think that's Goretzka's best position. And as we've seen throughout, I guess, the start of 2019, him playing higher has helped. And he's benefited from it. He's been scoring goals, right? But the word here for Bayern, and I think the word also applies for Liverpool, is the lack of control that they have in midfield. They have no control in that midfield. And that game, even when they have Thiago and Martinez, they're just sometimes they go through a lapse where, you're expected to suffer at some point throughout the game, but when they suffer, it's really bad. And that was the case here. There was a feeling that eventually Leverkusen would be able to break away and hit them on the counter. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, the first goal, it's a pretty good free kick.
I don't know how he's still at Leverkusen.
He won't
Chelsea,
be for
Chelsea were chasing him, wasn't he, last season?
I think there was
some talks about that. If I'm chasing a young kid who I want to invest some money into, if I'm Chelsea, I would rather spend my 65 on him as opposed to Pulisic.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand that. But as for Bayern, I think you're saying control. I'm going with a similar word. I'm saying they've lacked consistency all season. We've seen them be very, like in this game in particular, very good first half, and the second just completely fall off. There's been a lack of consistency in their games. There's been a lack of consistency in their lineup. Seems like there's just been a lack of consistency overall. And this is what happens when year after year you continue to rely on the same players, and you haven't really added enough substance. You've added a lot of great talent, but at some point the talent needs to step up. Yes, Goretzka's had a good run of 3-4 games, maybe let's call it a month right now. But he hasn't been very good over the span of the season.
No.
Not the player who they wanted.
Yeah.
And if
look at the options off the bench.
There's
That's
little
enough
to
for me.
Yeah.
there's a lot of good players who potentially in 3 to 4 years will be very good.
Correct.
Sanchez hasn't been who everyone expected him to be. Serge Gnabry is another player who's lacked consistency all year.
Yep.
Alfonso, what do you really expect out of Alfonso right now? Nothing.
No, I mean, but to that point, it was nice from a Canadian, and because we are in Canada, it's nice to see Alfonso getting some quality minutes in an actual important match. But that's the
What was it during the Chelsea game? Was it during Chelsea where they completely stopped the Chelsea
Sharman,
broadcast?
Sharman.
Yeah.
Just to be like, Davies is coming in.
Relax, James.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Don't do the Pulisic thing to this kid.
exactly.
It's already started.
And that's that was kind of where I was. We talked about it just briefly last week. I don't want to heap the pressure
No, don't.
on this young kid. But look, to Tyrell's point, that wasn't Bayern's strongest team. They are getting Robben and Ribéry back soon, I think. From the talks, I think they should be back maybe this weekend.
Well, I'm sure they have one eye on the Champions League.
Of course they do. I don't know how long Neuer's out for. Not that the keeper's at fault for any of those goals, but Neuer back there, I think that gives them that defensive line a little bit of extra confidence. But yeah, they do have one eye. I think they do have one eye on the Champions League right now. It's a week away for them.
A couple, I believe.
Couple weeks, because they play the second. They don't play
whatever
that first
it is.
week.
It's within sight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you totally skipped the fact that Volland should have beat Alfonso's ass. I'm not forgetting that. You should have beat him down.
Welcome to the league, kid.
Should have beat him down. Should have beat him down. But yeah, you're right. They're missing players. Neuer, Martinez, Thiago,
Yep.
Robben, Ribéry. Not that I think Robben and Ribéry really matter at this point based off the
shouldn't.
fact that their age and
of course,
and the fact that they haven't really been there all season. But one of them needs to be there because I'm pretty sure Muller can't play for those Liverpool ties anyways.
no, he's out
Due to suspension, right?
Yeah.
So, but to me, it was just control because the first half they were great. Shout out to Matt Hummels. I know you're not a big fan, but him and Sula have formed a nice little partnership there. And I just feel like if they did have somewhat of a ball controller in that midfield, that second half would have went a lot different. But that's been the case for them over the past few games. Like even the game that you thought they should have lost to Hoffenheim, they started really well, and there was a part in that second half where it was very open. It was going back and forth, and yeah, they concede the goal to a good free kick, and then an entire team breakdown for the second one. And it's just one of those days. You go to a tough ground, you don't play as well as you should for 90 minutes, and those things could happen. And that's what I have to say about them. But then when we flip to Dortmund, Dan made a good point before we started recording that, yeah, they should have been up a few goals if Royce had finished well. But the same token, I thought that Frankfurt played well. And I thought that they did well to neutralize them. And the fact that Fabs always makes that, if you just put some pressure on Delaney and Witsel, you could get something out of the game. They kind of did have that going for them with Jelson and Jovic.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jovic looks like,
It's Croatian, right? I'm assuming with that name.
Jovic? I don't think so. We
Really?
can find that out. Yeah, I don't think so.
We're actually going to maybe fact check.
Rebic is.
Yeah, Rebic is. He's Serbian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know what to really say for Dortmund because I've been beating the drum that they go as far as Royce takes them. Royce could have took them very far this week.
He had a few opportunities, right?
He should have scored a hat trick in the first half. He scored. He missed that breakaway or semi breakaway, and then he hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
So,
but I can't kill. I can't kill him, but that's not the reason why they tied.
No. That's what I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that really that game they could have put that game out of reach in that first half if he scores those chances.
But I thought Frankfurt could have put it away in the second half too.
I
I felt like it was a tale as well.
Yes.
Of two halves.
Berkey makes some good saves. Actually, I thought I normally don't give him a lot of love, but I thought he made a couple very, very, very important saves in the first half and in the second half. And
I prefer the Weigl Diallo center back partnership. I don't know why, but
really,
I prefer it more than.
Well, I guess at least with Weigl you get a little bit more experience.
Yeah, I didn't like the Akanji or the Zagadou or whoever they were playing back
Well,
there.
I'm sure when they get fit, one of them are coming into the fold.
And then they're going to put Weigl in midfield.
I don't know. I don't see them running a 3. Maybe in European nights,
Yeah.
I could see them running a 3 in midfield. But I think in the league, they're comfortable running that wild 4-man attack.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be working right now.
It's working.
They're getting enough out of Sancho, out of Guerrero. Guerrero's.
By the way,
yeah,
shout out to him.
Game.
Shout out to him on that goal.
That was a great little run that he made.
Yeah, he beat 3 or 4 guys with some very close control dribbling.
He's another kid who always has a lot of talent. It's just in terms of fitness,
right?
Which seems to be a question with Dortmund, just in general. Is how are you going to continue to get out of this for the next 3 months? That's a huge if, because we know Royce's issues, we know Götze's issues, we know what these players are, right? It depends on how far they go, really. But for right now, it's working for them. And they've given themselves enough of a buffer where you can have a few of these nights. Yeah. Especially when Bayern aren't capitalizing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because we're getting to the point now where every game you get past and Bayern aren't making up ground on you.
Better for you.
Mentally, it's becoming more difficult and more difficult. And you're getting to that point where Dortmund are going to start playing games more comfortably.
And it gives them more belief.
Exactly. And you get to a certain point in the season where I feel like that mental belief just takes over and can be that final piece when you're on a night where you're lacking confidence, where that can push you over the edge.
I mean, look, we've seen it happen before. I mean, to a lesser degree, but isn't that the reason how Leicester won that title? Was it 3 years ago now? There was that belief that turned into that snowballed, and then they felt that they could do no wrong. I know you're going to beat up on Tottenham for throwing that away. But,
beat up on all of them. Yeah, they were all terrible.
But but that's what happened. All of a sudden, they gain that little bit of confidence, and the same thing can be said to Dortmund. They're I don't think they expected to be in this position. The longer this goes, that they keep the lead or they extend it by even 1 point or something like that. You know what? Games start to tick away, and then you're chasing, and then you're pressing, and that's how you make mistakes. I think if I'm Dortmund, you just want to keep this steady as it goes. It's not easy; it's easier said than done. But the more games tick away, the better it is for Dortmund. If Munich can't cut into that lead.
Another thing for me too is how they manage the Champions League as well, because now you're going to get into this February, March ramps up, so now you're going to include your Champions League games,
right?
And you already have a bunch of players that are known to take knocks.
Yep.
And how you gonna manage Piszczek, who's already getting a little bit older? Witsel and Delaney, they are not the youngest guys out there as well. So are you going for it in the Champions League, or is the Champions League just a cherry on top right now, and you're focusing and you're putting most of your eyes around the league?
You know what? Because they play Tottenham, and Tottenham is so beat up right now, I think to a certain degree you have to go for it, at least against Tottenham. I think Dortmund right now are the favorites to get through in that leg, just because of how broken down Spurs are right now. I think you at least have to roll the dice for this round if you're Dortmund. Then if you get next round, if you get a Barcelona or a City or a team like that, then you may want to hedge your bets. But I think this round, I think they have a great chance to go through against Tottenham. I think they're the favorites right now, especially just the way Tottenham are looking with their injuries. Harry Kane's not there. Dele Alli's not going to play. You have a chance. You have a chance.
Is that all you guys need to say about Dortmund?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I really don't have much to say about them regarding what they've been doing, what they need to do, because it's basically what you guys kind of said to a degree. And I don't want to reiterate the point that they need to win out or need to keep doing what they're doing. It's all on Bayern at the end of the day. It's really up to them. This just kind of reminds me of the times that Bayern have not won the league in recent years, which we'd have to go back to like 2010, 2011, was when they kind of hit this mode where it was time to like reset, or they needed to, or they're in that phase where they were trying to hit that final stage. And those were the 2 years that Dortmund did capitalize under Klopp. And it feels like this is kind of that year where they're stuck in the middle, where they have the old guard and they have players that could be great but are not great yet, or some players that were thought to be great and perhaps are really not that great.
Yeah.
And for them, it's about picking up results. And obviously, I'm not going to kill them for losing where they lost, because that's a tough place to go to win, period. And but it's obviously, if you want to break it down, it is a lost opportunity because Dortmund had dropped points. I'm pretty sure they play at the same time, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so
I think that's a narrative that isn't really talked about, is that you're going to sign players that don't work out. I think we often assume that every player's purchased is going to be a home run every single time.
Yeah.
I think if you get like a 60-40 split, or even if you get a 50-50 split on players you sign that are okay and players that really work out, you'd probably be really happy.
Yes.
Yeah. More often than not, Bayern have hit in previous years on the players they've gone out and got. In the last few, maybe they haven't exceeded the expectations that they expected. Has James been as good as they expected? Probably not. Can they live with him going back to Madrid at this point? I think they can.
Yeah.
So things sometimes just don't pan out the way that we all expect them to pan out at times. They are humans.
Yeah, which is crazy because last year we thought that, this was a great move. But that's just how the sport goes, right? One year you could have a really great year. The next year, it may not work out for you as great as it did the previous year. So
James Isco swap?
We'll talk about that another time. Well, I was going to talk about Gladbach, but Dortmund didn't score, so they don't matter.
Okay.
No, sorry, Jimmy.
Sorry,
I think that was what we need to cover for the Bundesliga.
Let's
Happy
go.
we got it out of the way. So for those people that don't care about the Premier League and only want to hear the Bundesliga action, you could tune out.
So let's go to England then.
Well, what are we starting with? Can we start with yesterday or we can start what happened today?
I think
what mattered?
Hey, listen. We're going to start with Spurs. I'm going to give my Spurs.
Dan is really running the ship.
If no one listens to this podcast,
Definitely Dan's fault.
watches this. Definitely your fault. We're talking about topics that no one cares about. What do you have to tell me about what happened against Newcastle? Please let me know.
Son scored again.
What did you
they're
learn?
still in the title race.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes.
They're not.
If Bayern are in the race, then I'm putting Tottenham.
No,
right there.
those are two totally different. Those are two totally different talking points. They are not in the race. They were never in the race, and they're not going to win the title.
No, I'm not saying that they're going to win the title.
Because if you're in the race, if you we have to break this down. If you are in a title race, then people are expecting you to win the title, or you have a chance to win the title, or they think you have a chance to win the title. They have no chance to win the title. Like I told you, they could end February at the top of the table, and I will 100% tell you that they will not win the title.
Damn.
Because they are historically they are bottlers, and they're not good enough.
Listen, don't listen to Chiellini because he said that to you last year. So that's my point.
He's 100% right.
And he's
a wise man.
He's intelligent. He has a master's degree.
Okay, so it all makes sense.
He's a wise man.
Yeah, they are not terrorists.
Listen,
I'm not drinking the Spurs Gator.
Kool-Aid?
Spurs Kool-Aid, no.
No, I think just looking at Spurs, I think they got the result that they needed. It wasn't a great. They didn't play well again.
You could have told me.
They did not play well.
Like the third week in a row?
Third week in a row. They get the result late thanks to a horrendous keeping mistake. But you know what?
My stepdad killed them.
Yeah,
Killed Dubravka.
Yeah, and he should have.
I want to shout out to your stepdad.
Yeah,
he's got the greatest takes ever. He's the next guest I want on this show. 100%.
But you know what? If they, in all seriousness, if they can keep themselves in striking distance of, or keep themselves out of striking distance of fourth, by the time Harry Kane and Dele Alli come back, I think they will finish comfortably.
So they're not challenging for the title.
No, in all seriousness, no, they're not challenging. No, they're not good enough to. That's just to get Tyrrell worked up. No, they're not. They're not in the City or Liverpool level. But I think if they can keep away from fourth by the time Kane and Ali come back, they will finish comfortably third.
I was just gonna say I'm disappointed that you went that route. after everything you've been saying. Because I was gonna come here and tell you that if there was anything that we could take away from Spurs this weekend, is that throughout these past terrible games that they forced us to watch,
horrendous while we're at it.
They were able to get 9 points.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
And now I feel like they're in a great position where I think they've 100% locked up the top 4 spot. And I don't think that they really have to worry about the mess that is behind them.
In a way, you're right. Yes.
Because I'll bet you they lose more games with Kane and Ali back than they do without them.
No. I think by the time those guys come back, unfortunately, I think they're going to be out of the Champions League by the time those guys come back. But I think when you get those two back, that's like having two fresh signings coming back at that point. And if it is tight, that will be what they need to push.
Not for Spurs in March and April and May.
No, look,
I've seen them lose a lot of games with those two in March and April and May, and I'm not gonna bet against them losing more. I'm not betting against them losing more games with those two back.
You bet against them not even finishing third.
I just said that they're not the third best team.
12 points to lose from now till the end of the season is a lot.
And I'm looking at that from more than just a point standpoint. I don't think that they are the third best team. But I can't control what the other losers do behind them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is why I say that they're not the third best.
Your buddy Jermaine Genius said that they're one player away from being a almost perfect Premier League team. We buy that or no?
No. Because
the lesser known Jermaine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. BT Sports Jermaine,
yeah.
I think.
Let's not get him confused with the other Jermaine.
I feel like the way they've built their squad, it's almost impossible to just slot one player in there to put them over the hump. I feel like they would have to pull a few players out and then rejig it with a few other players, if that makes any sense. They, like I said, Dan, it's just the way that they operate. It's just like I could see it, but that's because I've seen them do it so many times, and they've given me no reason to think that with those two coming back, they're just gonna win out in March and April and May. Because I've seen them perform well without Kane being there, and that's because other players have stepped up. On this occasion, last year it was the occasion of Son and Ali sharing that. Here now, it's been Son. Mind you, they've played like 3 of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
And Newcastle and Burnley. Oh, no, not Burnley. Newcastle. Who did they beat the other week?
Spurs beat. Was it Watford?
Yeah, Watford at the end.
Yeah.
And then Watford actually isn't too bad.
It was Newcastle, Watford, and then they Fulham.
Yeah. If those two don't come back when they go to the bridge, they're going to lose at the bridge. I'll tell you that.
What?
If those two don't come back by the time they play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, they will lose that.
Yeah.
Well, with the form Leicester have been in, I could see Leicester grabbing a point.
Yeah, that too.
They've not been an easy team to play against.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So see, like we say about Liverpool, a lot of things have gone Spurs' way this season too, in terms of grabbing goals in the final 10 minutes or so.
And I don't think anybody would have told you that Son would be having the season that he's currently having.
Yeah, he's definitely overachieved.
Yes,
if
he's been I don't know how many points specifically he's grabbed, but I feel like he's solely given them 6, 7, maybe like 9 points this season on his own.
Yeah. He's been fantastic.
The amount of games that he's just won on one play or 2 plays or so he's been excellent. But I think the real talk is at the top of the
table. Yeah. I don't ever want to start with Spurs again. Okay. Sorry.
Unless they're in first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And even then, I don't want to start with them. So no one's coming here checking for Spurs, especially after that.
Do you want to start with City or do you want to go to what happened today?
I just asked that question 15 minutes ago. I was hoping you guys would answer.
It goes hand in hand. Well, for me, I think it starts with Liverpool because it happened again. The same thing happened again. They score first, they get punched in their mouth, and that's it. No way to recover. And I said last week that I wanted to see how mentally they were going to rebound. And mentally, they didn't show me it. I've been waiting for this. I've been sitting on this saying it's going to happen. Liverpool's blip is going to happen. It happens to everybody. They're not immune to it. The front three isn't playing like the front three normally does. It's too much. You can't expect just them to create everything on their own.
They don't have a midfield.
Yeah, and I
But we knew this.
Yeah.
Dan kind of hinted at it during the little Champions League run. They don't have a midfield. It's going to be a big problem. A lot of the times, there was the problem they had last season when they couldn't break down teams that sat off a bit deeper. This season, they've got some lucky bounces.
They were lucky today.
They were definitely lucky today. But this season, they've gotten some lucky bounces. They've gotten some lucky penalty calls.
Mm-hmm.
Some very generous penalty calls.
Goalkeeper errors.
Look at Everton. Look at the way they beat Everton.
Yep.
There's just been
everything's gone their way.
Everything's gone their way in that. And now we're in February. And like I said, these are the months that I like because these are the months where we get to see who's really made out of what. And they are folding.
But they spent on that midfield though.
Yeah. Naby, it's interesting because loser that works for goal, Carlo, I think is his name, posed a great question asking, imagine if Naby Keita if Ozil, Pogba, and he named someone else, played the way that Naby Keita has played in their first season, how much more stick they would get. Because they spent a lot on Naby Keita.
Mm-hmm.
We can't deny that.
Wasn't it like 50 or 60?
And he has not been the guy that they expected him to be.
No.
He's offered nothing. And I feel the same way even if Wijnaldum was there. There's just no control. They can't really create chances.
Nobody dictates the pace of the game.
No, not at all. They had little Declan out there looking comfortable.
He had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing that we seen what happened in the Champions League final last year when they finally ran into a team that could control and dictate the pace of the game. What happened?
I watched the way they lined up, and the first thing that I thought of was that Fabinho plays right back for Brazil. Okay, that's where he plays.
Fabinho?
Yeah. Why?
Since when?
That's where he plays. Sometimes he's slotted there for
Maybe
Brazil.
Sometimes, but he's always been a player who sits in front of the defense.
No, but he plays there for Brazil.
But he played in front of the defense for Monaco.
He did, but right now you have a problem. Liverpool has a huge problem at right back. James Milner is not the solution, and I know Trent is on his way back, and maybe that's the solution when Trent comes back there. But look, that James has gotten torched on that wing. Why not play Fabinho over there
and put Milner in midfield?
Yeah.
Well, that's on them because they let Klein go.
Yes.
They had an option, and it's not like Trent just got hurt.
No.
He's been on again, off again all season. So why would you let Klein go, even though Klein hasn't been nowhere near anything great? Okay, maybe you're recouping your losses at this point, but you at least had a suitable-ish replacement there, right?
Yeah.
But they spent everywhere else. So because you didn't have money for a replacement right back, that's what can we say about that?
No, but I think the issue is where Tyrrell says it is. It's in the midfield. I mean, you can't take away from that front three as well. They aren't firing right now.
Firmino does not look like himself.
He and Tyrrell made this point last week. He looks tired, and I watched him primarily today. He tried to get involved. He tried to drop deep, but he looks tired. He out of all of them looks the most spent. And I don't know. I like I said, I don't know how far he traveled or anything like that. Heat maps and all of that, but he just couldn't get himself involved. He tried to get himself involved, but he looks physically spent right now.
Well, Mane's kind of saved them over these past two games. I thought the goal was pretty good.
Other than it was offside.
Well, yes, obviously it was offside. But the finish was good.
Yeah, the finish was nice.
Look, Buddy's watching the ball instead of the game. I'm just like, whoa. And the thing about it, they almost let Origi get away with it at the end.
Yeah.
Because he was offside too.
He was like a foot offside as well.
I was like,
not like that. If that had gone their way, that would have been a story.
Yes.
Because everything has gone their way.
Yeah.
Everything, absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And even like you said, Declan should have buried that header in the first half. Open header should have been 2. West Ham should have gone 2-1 up at the break.
But even in the second half, there's not one opportunity that I can look to and say, clear cut, Liverpool should have had a goal.
They didn't generate anything in the second half.
And that's the biggest problem. And that's when I look at Liverpool, and this is where I have my gripe with Klopp, is that it's the same thing that happened at Leicester. It's like you could credit West Ham and you could credit Leicester for sitting off and being organized and doing what they have to do. But to the same degree, I look at what you're doing or what you're trying to do and what they're doing to stop you. And they weren't doing much to really stop them. They were doing what they were supposed to do. Sit in the 2 lines, 4-5-1. Liverpool were narrow. They stayed narrow and try to ensure that Robertson couldn't do much out wide. But I look to you and it's like, what? Not even more to a plan B, but what is your overall approach? When I watch City, for the most part, barring what happened at Newcastle, you could kind of see what they're trying to do. Even with United, you could see what they're trying to do. Spurs, to a certain degree, when they're fully fit, you could kind of see what they're trying to do with the ball. But I don't really know what Liverpool are trying to do.
It's kind of sporadic. Like at times you get Salah somewhere and then
Yeah.
Mane's and sometimes they're sharing the same spaces.
Space. Sometimes they're all checking for the ball in the same space. And I'm just like, okay, Jurgen.
Because if you can't get the best of Antonio and Anderson who don't track back and don't defend, then there has to be something more. Because there was plenty of opportunities when I'm looking at Anderson and I'm like, he has no idea who's on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really exploit that.
Midfield of Robert Snodgrass and Noble protecting.
Snodgrass isn't even a central midfielder.
He just works hard.
He played his socks off.
Yeah.
I think he might have been the best player that I only watched the second half.
Even Noble.
But he was impressive.
They do work hard. They do work hard.
But that's their MO. They work hard. They're a hardworking team. But that should be no excuse for Liverpool not to get 3 points from that game.
Well, not at this stage. You can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Not coming off the day where you just seen City go out and grab 3 points.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, was the most important thing about last week is the mental game. Because I think we don't give credit to the mental game enough.
But that was, and you just said it. Do you feel that Liverpool felt that pressure?
Oh, 100%.
Of course.
Knowing that
I could see it in Klopp's face for the last 30 minutes. He was losing his mind.
Knowing that City, and you know what? City have a game. Well, they're gonna have they're gonna play a game.
Well, they better beat those bums.
No,
so we'll get to them later.
If they drop points to that team, I'll be very surprised, to be honest.
Well, this is where I was going. This is the chance for City to really turn up the heat on Liverpool now. Because
technically speaking, City can go top of the table.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Well, okay.
Because they won the head-to-head.
Technically
speaking.
but isn't it goals?
Goal difference. But
they're still up on that.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought.
But even so, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we were crowning. Not we. No, we never did that.
Yeah,
But to me, it started with Liverpool was going to go on unbeaten all season.
Yeah.
With Lovren or whatever he said that we were capable of going beaten. And where was that? That was a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And now we sit where you could potentially be overtaken again.
That's right. And that was to my point a couple weeks ago about one team playing before the other and whatnot. And I think it's now in Liverpool's head what's going on. Now they're kind of looking over their shoulder, looking at the results instead of going out there and just playing.
Well, they've never been in this type of pressure. They've never been under it. Most of those guys in that locker room, barring Milner, I would like to say, and I think just Milner and Klopp, have been under that pressure.
A true title race, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Klopp's only been in that situation once. Milner's been in it.
Was Henderson part of that?
Oh yeah, Henderson was.
So whatever. That's
very
couple guys.
Very few. And Henderson came on the losing end, so you don't count. So they haven't been under that pressure. And I don't think it's the fact that now they gotta, even when they go to Anfield, that crowd is expecting them to win.
Yep.
So when shit hits the fan, who is gonna pull them out of the ground and be like, okay, we gotta get this done? And there are not too many guys I see in that team that can really do that. They have some errors stylistically that they need to fix. The manager needs to find a way to really get them going because you can't. Teams aren't going to open up to you, so you're not going to end up having to play. You're not going to be able to play that way, and you haven't really played that way this season. You've played much slower. You've technically had control of games without controllers, but you haven't really bothered teams. You've been able to win and get results based off mistakes, based off moments of individual brilliance, based off officiating mistakes, based off penalties being awarded, but you haven't really cemented what you are. I don't know what they are.
Liverpool is a team that kills you when you make a mistake.
Mm-hmm. But they haven't been that ruthless.
If you can minimize the amount of mistakes you make, like I didn't see very many mistakes that West Ham made in that second half.
And neither Leicester.
So these teams are minimizing mistakes. If you can minimize those mistakes against Liverpool, it's very difficult for them to create a goal. Especially if it's not coming from the wide area.
Right.
If it's not coming from the wide area.
But I don't even like that definition you gave me as to what they are.
No, it's not what they are. It's what they're very good at. But
okay.
When I see City, obviously City can kill you when you make a mistake. City can kill you from open play. City can kill you from the middle, from all wide, from all over the place. Liverpool don't. Yeah, they have that cutting edge because of that front three. But apart from that front three,
who else is really going to kill you?
They're a neat team. Apart, you take that front three out of them, and I don't want to use the word average.
No, you can use it.
But they're a regular team.
I was going to use it.
I don't think that's truly fair because I think
that front three scored like 60 goals last season.
But if you take those, if you also do that same analogy for let's say City.
No.
Yeah,
they're a City are a much more dangerous team if you take out the front three. If you take out Aguero, Sané, and Sterling, I would still bet City to beat a lot of teams.
Yeah, but
I don't know how many teams Liverpool are beating if you take out that front three.
No, they're
very difficult.
They're probably a mid-table team without those three.
And I can make the case that those three have somewhat overachieved. I could.
Well,
I won't do it today.
No, based off the fact that nobody expected anything that from them. Not from anything, but that from them.
Right.
But we can have that conversation at some point.
And that's why we always say it's so difficult to win in the second season and replicate success in the second season, even though they didn't win anything last year. But the way they went about their games, we knew that was going to change this season. You can't play full throttle 90 minutes for 38 games.
No.
Klopp knew that coming into the season.
Yep. That's my issue with Klopp too.
But is it time for maybe him to go back to that?
Right now?
No.
No? Carry on? Just a rough patch?
I don't think he can go through that. I don't think he can go back to that because teams aren't going to play that way to allow them to do that. That's the problem.
But even if they do, you're gonna if you try to go with that style, that high press, everything now, you're gonna burn your team. You're gonna burn. He's gonna burn them out.
Yeah.
Before that season finishes.
I think they've been burned out. How long has he been there? 3 years?
Yeah.
We're hitting that stage where the burnout comes. The burnout is inevitable. And that's why they were counting on these players like Shaqiri and Keita and Fabinho to kind of slot in to take a bit of that workload off. And to a certain degree they have. But we have to look at him. I'm focusing this on him now because you were in a situation where you could have went 10 points clear at one point. Right? That was the case?
Yeah.
They were 7 at one point before that City game. They could have went 10. And everyone was ready to crown them. And I remember saying here, even if they went 10, I'm not giving them shit because I know that there has to be a drop off at some point, and we are not in March or April yet for me to be like, okay, well, you got it. Now we're here, and we're in a place where, yeah, we could blame the players to a certain degree, but when you have that advantage and things are going your way, and you know that, because if we know this, he knows it. Mm-hmm. Now it's on you to really show what you're about and find ways for your team to maintain that level. And if things are going rocky, find an alternative to ensure that they're able to sustain what they have. Whether it be playing the ugly way that they've been doing and getting results, or switching it up and finding a new way to get it done. I'm not saying he has to switch it up and find a new way to get it done, but he is in control of their destiny. And these last two performances, as much as we could put it down on them not playing that well, I look at the approach.
Well, it factors in, obviously.
They did not create enough chances to beat Leicester, and they did not create enough chances to beat West Ham. And that is down on him. Because he had time. He had time between that Leicester game. I don't know who they played the week before that, but he had time between that Leicester.
It was the Palace.
Palace.
The one where they didn't play that well.
And
then they went away to Qatar or whatever.
Yeah.
So you had a time to go away to Qatar, no FA Cup. You lost that on purpose. So we think.
Yeah, how silly is all that going to look?
Yeah. You had time to go to Qatar and find a way to make up for that Crystal Palace result. And then we have the Leicester result. And then after that, you got West Ham. You got a few half times in there too.
If we're looking at it, in the last 6, they've only won 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2019 hasn't been good to them. So is it on him? I'd like to think so. And I feel like he's really got to, because now he's really got to win something. We've said that this season. So I'm just leaving it to him.
It's not going to be the Champions League.
We can't say that. We can't say that. Well, I'm happy that Champions League is coming because I have a lot of we can't say that to hit you guys with.
I think we just said the burnout factor. The deeper they go into the Champions League, there's going to be a burnout in one competition. They are not going to be able to do what they did last year and make a deep Champions League run and sustain this form in the Premier League. They're barely able to do it in one competition.
That's on Klopp.
It is.
Well, they don't get that pass because they spent the money.
Yeah, no.
Brought in the Ketas, brought in the Fabinhos.
I'm just saying that if we're seeing them burnt out now, they're only playing in one competition.
The reason why I'm saying that you can't say that is because I look at the others in Europe and they give me no reason to suggest that Liverpool can't beat them over 2 legs, burnout or no burnout. And that's why we can't say that.
But I don't see them, if they go deep in the Champions League, they will not win the Premier League. That's what I'm saying. The deeper they go into that competition,
you think?
Yeah.
I've always had a gripe to say that an additional 2 games shouldn't be a big deal, especially when they haven't played as many games as everyone else because they're not making a deep FA Cup run, or they didn't make a deep Capital One Cup run. Because I look at the other clubs, Barca's playing a lot of games this January and February. Atletico, they're a whole different kettle of fish that I don't even want to get into. Real Madrid, the same thing. City are playing a lot of games in February.
Well, if you're a top side, this is what's expected to you at the end of the season.
So that's why I can't. That's why I can't exclude them from winning the Champions League, because the only teams that I'm really excluding from not winning the Champions League: Porto, Roma. Sorry, Fabs.
Hey, it is what it is.
Porto, Roma,
Schalke.
Ajax. Is it Ajax? That's it?
Yeah.
Schalke. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't really lump Dortmund into that because Dortmund have a chance to get by a couple teams that I could see them beating if they go head to head against.
Okay, so those are the teams. Those are the teams.
Putting Spurs in there.
Oh yeah, Spurs too.
Okay.
Spurs too.
I was waiting for that.
Spurs too. But besides those teams, I think anyone else.
But I'm not saying that Liverpool don't have a chance to win. I'm just saying that
you said they're not winning.
I don't think they are, but I think the deeper they run into that competition, they're already burnt out now. That's what I'm saying. They are gonna burn themselves out of the Premier League. Is that an excuse? That's not an excuse. I'm just saying. I'm just stating the facts. And looking at this team, they look like a team that's tired.
You don't think City will burn themselves out?
No, because I think they're deeper than Liverpool.
Okay, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, and if you want to get to City.
That wasn't that we are.
Was that your segue?
No, that was not my
segue.
segue.
Okay, I thought that's what you're.
My I'm just ending this with saying that Jurgen, the attention You've got it now. And
For all the wrong reasons.
but you got it now. And now it's time. I've always challenged him because I feel like there is a great manager inside of him. I can't take that away from him. But for you to be the greats, this pressure, you get out of this. So I want to see how he gets out of it.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Wow.
City. City.
You know what?
Okay, Dan, you're not controlling anything anymore, okay, Dan?
City.
Listen, let me just say my piece on City.
Surprised you didn't make us talk about Serie A first.
No, God, we're not talking about City. Aguero's going to get the headlines, as he should, because he scored 3. But I was really impressed by the way Pep played Fernandinho. I think that was one of the, or should be one of the talking points to that game. He played with a back 3 when they were in possession, with Fernandinho going into the midfield, and then when they were out of possession, Fernandinho slid beside Otamendi, and Laporte went to the left, and Walker went to the right, and they played with the 4 in the back. I think, and I said this before, I think Fernandinho is one of those players that's undervalued in that City team, because the Sterlings, the Sanes, the Agueros, the Jesuses all get the headline. But I think if you want to appreciate a player or a couple players, one would be David Silva, and the other one would be Fernandinho in that squad. And I think they don't get the appreciation that they deserve. There you go.
That's the challenge with Pep, is we know he's a genius. It's just that, can he overdo it to himself sometimes?
You know what?
It's just a case of Arsenal weren't able to transition quickly enough to capitalize on an opportunity like that. Because if you get the midfielder caught in midfield, now you got your 3 at the back and you have a couple guys running at him. That's also something that Arsenal didn't capitalize on, I think, on. But City were far and away the better side.
Yes.
I've said it before, when Arsenal plays the top sides or now, they're not at this level yet. It's going to take a lot to. We're talking about City. This is a team that's been groomed over 3 years now. They're tactically at a different level. Their player, their personnel, everything is just at a much different level as Arsenal is, and that was clear to see. Even with Arsenal at 1-1, just the passing, the precision, everything in City's side never led me to believe that I thought Arsenal were at some point going to take the lead, or even take any points out of that game.
No.
So I got a few questions for Dan, and after what he said.
Go ahead.
Why do you think that tactical decision by Pep was so important?
Why?
This is not like to aim at you, but a lot of people have said it. I caught it. But do you think it was important? Did you think that they had to move from a 3 to a 4?
You know what?
From a 4 back to a 3, or a 3 back to a 4?
I didn't think they had to. And I actually, when I first saw that lineup come out, I didn't understand why he didn't play Sane, because I thought, Sane running at Lichtsteiner, like that would be the matchup that you want. But Bernardo Silva played really well, and De Bruyne kind of overloaded the one side where Bernardo Silva was, and who was on the other side, Silva and Sterling.
Raheem.
Yeah, and so they overloaded that side. So to answer your question, did he have to do it? No, but I think that's the side of Pep that makes him special, because he didn't have to change it. He does change it, and I think that slight modification allows him to do what he wants to do. Allows that game to kind of tilt in his favor. And I don't know if Emery was ready for that kind of formation and that kind of system change.
Okay, I'm cool with that answer. Second thing, I guess I agree with the Fernandinho thing. That's Pep's fault, because, well, not really Pep's fault. That's Jorginho's fault. We're blaming Jorginho on this.
Poor Jorginho.
Forever blaming him for that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, because Fernandinho, they need him there because they haven't really invested in a central defensive midfielder since they let Gareth Barry and Nigel De Jong go. So that's on them. And can't blame Pep because Jorginho decided to go to Chelsea and young kid decided to go to Barcelona next year. So De Jong as well. They decide to go elsewhere. So that's can we blame
Frankie?
Pep? No. I don't know if we could blame Pep for that. David Silva, still waiting for him to really click in 2019.
Told you, he's got to shave his head.
But he started the season. He started the season very well, and he did decide to score goals. I think a lot of this. I don't understand why Emery decided to revert to a 4-4-2. I'm not too sure if him sticking with the same formation would have changed the result, but I just found that a bit interesting to me at least.
He could have had Ramsey, Harry, Fernandinho.
Yeah.
The same way he did Jorginho. I think that would have potentially helped a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a part of me that feels that Emery got it wrong. But look, you're not going to beat Manchester City in the first phase of your development with that back line. And we went through what we thought of that back line last week. Yeah. So we're not going to get into
we've
that.
We've done it a lot, actually.
And that's a big problem to highlight with this Arsenal side. So we know that they eventually got to get a back line or form one. I don't know how they're going to do that or who they're going to buy or who they could promote to help speed that process up. But they got to do something. And eventually we'll have time to break down them in an entire podcast sometime down the future and really break down how they're going to do that. But that was one of the things. The one thing I could take from Arsenal is that Fabs' guy, the youngster that needs to cut his hair, actually had a pretty decent game. And I will take that as a positive for them. Yeah. I don't know how good he's going to be. This is his first season. Can he progress? Yes. Will he? We don't know. But that was the one positive thing I could take from Arsenal there. And as for City...
Well, I have a question for you.
Sure, shoot.
And I saw this question being thrown around. What does it say for Ozil that he was captain against with Cardiff and he doesn't come off the bench?
That game's not for him.
I was just gonna say he would have gone absolutely bypassed at every single chance.
That game, you see, when I look at Mesut and I see where he's really excelled in terms of being in a side that played on the counterattack, because there was a time where he did excel. And this was never a big issue. And that was at Germany and that was at Real Madrid. But those sides, the German side had players that were able to do that groundwork for him. And that was why they were so key. Because Mesut Ozil is probably at his best in a counterattacking side. Because of his ability to play that quick pass, to release it quickly, to find the perfect pass. Mm-hmm. At Real Madrid, he had Xabi Alonso, he had Sami Khedira, he had Di Maria doing the work for him. And he could float into the spaces that he wanted to float to under Mourinho for 70 to 75 minutes. The biggest mistake that Mesut Ozil made, or probably not the biggest mistake because he wasn't in Ancelotti's plans at Real Madrid, right, was going to Arsenal. Because they were a club that lacked direction, that definitely didn't have a holding midfielder, and weren't built to work that hard without the ball in these big games. And he hasn't benefited from it ever since. Mm-hmm. So the crazy thing here is that you feel that if they just had a few more better players, or then maybe it could work. And I mean more so with the back line, because I mean they have the workers there, and Guendouzi and Torreira, and they could throw in Ramsey if they wanted to, and they could find to make it work. But I don't think Emery is in a position where he wants to make it work, because I feel like you can. But then it's also not on him; it's also on Mesut and where he's at. So I feel like if Mesut just made that move now with this squad, perhaps it could have been different. But now it's at a point of no return, and I wasn't surprised that he didn't play, and I don't expect him to play in these big games.
No, neither do I. I'm just saying, from being the captain to Cardiff against Cardiff to not even getting off the bench. Not that this was a game for him. I just felt that was a talking point.
I don't even know why he was the captain against Cardiff, anyways.
Neither do I, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. You know the media; they try to stir things up. So shout out to them for pointing that out. But yeah, that was my take really on the game. Regarding Sergio Aguero, I guess we kind of have to have a discussion about him quickly.
Best striker in the Premier League? Is that what you're going to ask me? because
No, that's a tough question to really break down. Is he the best striker right now?
right now,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I would like to say that he is the best goal scorer.
Okay.
But I do think he's improved a lot under Pep. And I think that we need to give him, Aguero, a lot of credit, and we have to give Pep a lot of credit. Because there was a point where a lot of people thought that Aguero was going to leave.
Oh, I was one of those.
And that he was going to get sold.
Yes.
A lot of people thought that. And I feel like in the second season under Pep, he links play better. He gets into different spaces much better. Whereas under Pellegrini, we thought, okay, this is what we're going to get from Sergio Aguero.
He's more involved.
Yeah, he's more involved now. And I thought that he actually declined at Manchester City, given the player that he was when he came from Atletico Madrid, when a lot of people thought that he could be in conversations to be a Ballon d'Or, someone that could compete for it.
Right.
When he made the move. Because if you watch him in his first season at City and his last season at Atletico Madrid, totally different player than what he is now. I was saying about all time. And I think he's going to be in the conversation because I think his goal scoring record is ridiculous. And I just think that if Sergio was just a bit, not that he's not likable, but he's not
more friendly.
He's not
marketable.
He's not the media guy.
Yeah.
Maybe because he's not like the English speaking.
Yeah.
And the Premier,
he's not the face of the Premier League.
Yeah. Right.
And the Premier League likes to push that. And he's not that guy. Because I feel like he should be held, and I think people should speak about it more. That he's in that conversation.
Well, I bet you there's certain people out there that will put somebody like a Drogba ahead of him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. And I think Drogba had that marketing factor. He was likable. He was kind of, in that bracket where Aguero might not be. But when I watch Aguero play, I mean, that guy, you give him just a little bit of air, a little bit of space in the box, and he will punish you. And he just knows where to be. I don't know how he ranks in terms of top goals. Eighth.
And he's done it enough.
He has a higher rating than anybody in the top. Only Harry Kane has a higher ratio. He's got a 0.70 ratio, whereas Aguero has a 0.69 ratio.
Yeah. How much has Aguero scored?
Aguero scored 157 games, 157 goals in 227 games.
Yeah, that's a pretty damn good strike rate.
Yep, and consider him on the time that he's been injured too.
Yeah.
If you compare him, let's say for example, to Michael Owen, who scored 150 in 326 games.
Yeah.
So he played 100 more games than Aguero. And scored. And Aguero's already scored 7 more goals than him.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's a conversation that will be had at some point towards the end of his time in the Premier League. But we got to give him a shout out because he probably wasn't even supposed to be here. I'm pretty sure Pep at one point was like, "Oh, I don't really need him," and he could have taken it upon himself to be like, "Well, I don't need to be here. I've won what I think I could win here. I could walk and take a big paycheck." But he decided to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to improve his game, and look where we are here. He's still the main guy. We can make a case that he could be probably the best player in their history. We could make that case.
I don't think anybody could really argue too much on that.
No.
Considering he's won the silverware.
Yes,
he
scored that big goal.
Yeah,
or maybe
he's had one of the biggest moments, probably the moment in Manchester City.
Yeah.
Well, even if you compare him to, let's say, to Henry scored 175 goals. And Aguero's 157, so that would put him at 18 behind him, if my math's right. Yeah, 18 behind, and he's got 31 games to catch him. If Aguero scores 18 goals in 31 games, which in this City side is not unimaginable,
exactly.
right? And a lot of people consider Henry to be he's easily in that conversation.
Oh, he is
Premier League striker.
Right? I think if you ask, I think Henry is one of those names that get mentioned first
because of
he's marketable. And he played on a fantastic Arsenal squad back in the day too.
And quote unquote one of the greatest or the greatest Premier League side.
Yes.
No, they're not.
I said quote unquote.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling people they're not.
I specifically said that for a reason because I knew you were going to hit me with that.
But that's the problem with the Premier League. That was what I wanted to say last week, actually. And I was very upset. I was like, why do they got to do this? Why does Jim
and John.
Jim, John, Martin, Danny Higginbottom.
Did you make that up?
And
No, that's his name. Yeah, that's definitely his name.
Andy Townsend.
I'm definitely changing my last name if Higginbottom is my channel.
All these guys last week. That's the thing about the Premier League. Every game is a tough game. Every game you have to fight and bleed. I was like, come on, man.
Do you know how much Huddersfield sucks?
Yeah.
You got to bleed to beat Huddersfield? You got to bleed to beat Newcastle? Any game.
Fulham right now?
That's why this is the greatest league in the world, because anything could happen.
You guys got the greatest TV deal, okay?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
So many people watch the league. I was like, yo, you guys need to relax because Bayern just lost to who? Atletico just lost to who?
Yeah.
Even today, what did they say? What did he say today? I had this all quoted. It's at the end of the game. It's a capacity for a stinging tail. I was just like, what is that?
I am giving him.
I was like, yo, man, you guys are really selling the product.
You guys are making shit up on the fly.
They're really selling the product.
Listen, if you want to understand all those British sayings, you gotta hit up my sister.
I definitely, next time she comes, we're gonna sit her down and be like, why do they gotta speak like that?
She knows all of those catchphrases.
Why do I need to know? Why they could have come to West Ham?
Well, Shakespeare was English, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
So
god.
there you go. It all makes sense. They throw a little Shakespearean on there.
Because
that's gonna be my term for English. The Shakespearean.
Because Liverpool couldn't break down West Ham.
Yeah.
Anything could happen in the Premier League. It's never a dull
When was
moment.
the last time an English team won a European title?
It's never. I don't know. Chelsea. That terrible Chelsea side.
There you go.
Anyhow, I'm done with these two title contenders.
Speaking of Chelsea,
they won.
Hey.
They won.
Hey, sorry ball works again.
Yeah.
Against Huddersfield. Ooh, yay.
Fabs' boy scored twice.
Look, the only thing I'm saying is that was a very good second goal. And the only thing
he can't really say much. What's
About
his-
Higuain?
yeah.
Are you talking about Higuain's finish?
Yeah, well, Hazard, he's still going to get his 20 goals. and then we'll have that conversation. But Higuain gets his 2 goals, but you notice an automatic difference from Morata. Did Morata's out? I actually posed this question. Did Morata score any goals outside the box this time against Chelsea? Probably not.
No.
I don't think so. Mind you, there was a slight deflection.
I
Yeah,
actually.
it is what it is. But just the ability to
Have the
it's the confidence
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
Is I don't think Morata would have even attempted anything like that because his confidence just was shot.
and Drew can't.
Yeah.
No.
I think Giroud's done what he's done, has always been in the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
90 to 95% of his goals have probably always been in the box.
But I think both of those goals sum up Higuain perfectly. The first goal is very, very, very good movement. Classic movement from Higuain. He did that all throughout his time in Serie A, whether it was with Napoli or whether it was with Juve. So that was his first goal. And the second goal, like you said, Fab, is just a guy that has confidence in himself, that he knows he's going to take that chance. He's a striker. And when he has that opportunity, he's going to shoot.
I thought his hand was going to break off because every time he'd have his hand motioning where he wanted to get the ball and he would never get it. I felt like he was at Milan. Just
Those bums still don't know where
They don't know how to pass.
Eden has to learn where he wants the ball.
But at the end of the day, it was against Huddersfield.
It's Huddersfield.
So I'm gonna hold my applause.
We're gonna hold the applause. Here,
until
we're gonna
the-
start the applause, but we're gonna stop it
There you
just
go.
because it's not a full applause yet.
is that unfair to them?
No, it's
I'm just asking the question.
No.
I'm just asking the question
no.
Is that unfair to who? Huddersfield or Chelsea?
to Chelsea.
No,
No.
Okay, I'm just asking the question.
definitely not. Because we didn't applaud United when they did it to Huddersfield.
We never applaud United.
So
Or I
then-
never
And
applaud
we
United.
sure as hell wouldn't have applauded
No.
Spurs if they did it. Okay.
Definitely not.
I
So-
never said I was going to applaud Chelsea. I'm just asking the question.
No, I no, not against Huddersfield.
No, for them it's a good confidence boost. Obviously, anytime you put 5 across any team,
But now they play
it's a good
City.
confidence boost. But it's still a work in progress.
Now they played City
Can't-
twice, I think.
Can't kill him one
Yeah.
week and then the next week love him and then the next week kill him and then the next week love him.
What do you mean? Dan does it all the time.
To who?
I don't know.
No.
Someone.
No, nobody.
So someone here does it to someone. I'm not going to say who it is.
It's Fabs.
I don't know.
He has a someone.
I don't know. I'm just making up shit.
I definitely have a song.
see?
Hazard, if only he could play Huddersfield every week.
He might have hit 20 goals in the first 10 games if
Exactly.
that was the case.
That was what I took from the game. Why can't he play them every week? Yeah.
There's really not much to say about it.
No.
Well, okay, fine. We'll skip Chelsea. We don't get to rant about you this week, guys, but don't worry. Next week,
I think you've had 2 great rants in the last 2 weeks about Chelsea.
next week we'll hit you when you somehow don't beat City. Or you know what? Given the way this league has gone, you're gonna beat
They're
them
definitely going to beat City.
at the Etihad.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen in the
In the
Premier
Premier
League.
League, it's never a dull moment.
The greatest league in the world.
Stay tuned. These guys are losers. I have nothing to say about United, by the way.
No, neither do I. I was going to say.
A great opening 20 minutes. Young, great Marcus at it again. Another
Should have scored.
Sublime pass from Paul.
pass from Paul Pogba because only he could really hit that pass. Just because he's playing 20 yards further up the pitch. Why couldn't Jose do that?
Did you see him fall on his ass today?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Man, why are you on the ice? Does Portugal have a national hockey team? No, we don't. We don't do ice hockey.
You don't do ice in general.
Like how John Tavares' parents put him in ice hockey. I don't know how that came about,
They knew.
but we like the water when it's not frozen.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So stay off the ice, Jose. What are you doing? What is this? Your media PR run?
Yeah,
You're
it
doing
is.
like your beIN Sport.
He's on a great little PR
your
run.
Russian hockey league.
KHL.
Just before he
Did you go like see Roman out there? Is
Probably.
that what that was?
making a return.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Man,
United.
We're talking about them now.
Yeah, I thought someone here watched it. Besides me,
I watched it.
I watched it.
did you enjoy it?
I can't say I really enjoyed it.
Did you learn anything new about?
No, Leicester once again they played well to a certain extent. They did what they've done in previous weeks against sides who are supposed to be better than them. I think Leicester themselves are also limited to what they can create in attack because they are focusing on, when you're playing against the bigger sides, you're focusing mostly on the defensive aspect of the game. So Vardy doesn't get very much service. He gets a few chances here and there. Madison wasn't happy when he got taken off.
No,
I wasn't very.
I was surprised with that substitution.
But Ghazal did settle into the game quite nicely quickly.
I didn't think he played that well, anyways.
No,
So I don't
and
know.
from a wide area, I would probably
James.
prefer having Ghazal over Madison.
So him and the fans need to relax. I'm pretty sure they were booing.
It's
they were.
an English thing. It's because they're taking out the non-English player.
Yeah.
Or they're bringing in the non-English player. Sorry. But Leicester are just they're a middle ground team.
Yes.
Can they beat a top side here and there? Can they pull out a good result against a top side? Yeah, they can. But on a weekly basis, are they going to do it consistently? I don't put that much faith in them on a week basis.
It's a pretty tough running game for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a shit schedule.
Yeah.
Whoever made that schedule really
Yeah.
didn't help them at all.
Just like it is for Huddersfield, because Huddersfield play Arsenal next week.
Yeah.
So sucks to suck. I just want to ask if the new manager drip was still on, the new manager bounce.
They've yet to lose. So he's really putting in his efforts to make it a full-time gig.
It's crazy because I think someone asked for like an Ollie video to see what they've done different, United.
Oh, really?
And I was just in my head. I never was thinking to ever do it. But in my head, I was really thinking like, can I really point out 5 things that they've really done differently to get on this nice little winning streak?
How many times could you say that the players didn't like Mourinho anymore?
5 times.
Because
that would seem to do it.
Yeah. Someone was like, oh, so you're telling me that they just stopped playing for the manager?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. It's pretty much that simple. And that's why they're losers.
Never seen Paul run so hard again.
Yeah. And to me, that's why they're losers.
Marcus isn't missing 1v1s anymore.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not saying he was doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
No.
But
No, I just don't think you can really hit them.
just a certain confidence level
But
around
some
the
guy
side.
would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to mention his name.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
There you go.
Anyhow, if you guys got nothing to say about United, I really don't, because I still waiting to see what they really are. And I know he's made like that one little tactical change with Pogba playing a bit higher, and the two wide forwards and the diamond in those two big games. But we'll learn a lot very soon. February seems like the month.
Oh, we're gonna figure them out in February.
February seems like the month.
Like you said, they have a tough run of fixtures coming up, so they're gonna.
We're gonna get to that big fixture because we're gonna get to it really soon. Probably by the end of this podcast.
And we got to see how he does in the European lights.
I think he might be fine.
Okay,
I think he might be fine.
you and a lot of others.
But yeah, but that's not on him. That's on the other guys.
Yeah.
Anything else in the Premier League that mattered? I watched a few games, so
Wolves continue their nice streak. Meanwhile, Everton can't defend set pieces and can't defend in general, and
they have a really bad back line.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and they've spent some money there too.
Yep.
They have a really bad back line.
It's time. It's
Shame
Coleman.
They're
and
done.
Baines.
They're done. I said that at the start of the season.
It's been a nice run,
It's over.
but guys,
It's over.
thank you for your service. But it's time to move on.
It's over.
Yeah.
Michael Keane
Oh, already too?
for him.
Yeah.
Michael Keane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's over.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he's a decent Premier
Yeah, I was
League
gonna
center
say
back.
I wouldn't.
Not to. Okay, this is the problem with Everton, and this is the problem with the people that aren't Everton fans, and this was the problem for everyone that looked at this team at the start of the season. Everyone automatically said that they were going to finish in 7th place. There are a lot of people. We can't dispute that. A lot of people were like, "Oh well, you look at everyone else. Everton's going to 100% finish in 7th. They are the 7th best team."
Well, on paper they should be.
But it didn't work out. It hasn't worked out.
Well, you don't play your games on paper. That's the beauty.
Exactly. And their fans believed it, and now that they are not. And I don't think, when I really had to sit down and look at it, I looked at what Everton were last season, and they were flirting with relegation for a bit.
for a long stretch of time.
Yeah. Until the big man came in and fixed things.
Yep. Big Sam.
And I throw it to Marco, who hasn't really done much. I'm not going to kill him yet because I feel like I don't think he's going to get that transfer window. But he probably deserves at least one more transfer window. But you throw it to him, you have all these overpaid players that weren't worth the transfer valuation that was given to them. And he's expected to really turn things around. I mean, when I look at it, where they are right now, where are they? Like 11th? 12th?
No, they're 9th.
They're 9th?
Yeah, 9th. They sit 4 points back, 5 points back of Wolves for 7th.
If Wolves weren't doing what they were doing, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not really surprised by where they are.
It's a consistency thing as well.
With them?
With Everton for sure.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to find a decent stretch of games. It's always barely scrape by and then lose and then win.
Well, I think they do have a problem within the squad. There's not much balance.
And it doesn't help that Idrissa wanted to go to PSG, so now who knows what happens with him for the rest of the season.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not too surprised. I do think that their defense is awful. And Wolves, like I said last week, they turned it around with a nice little system change.
Everton are like a great FIFA team.
Yeah.
Like on paper it seems fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
But then when you actually put it together,
And try to play.
it's not happening.
And they have City midweek.
Yeah.
Which could get ugly.
Well, they tend to sometimes overperform in that situation, but I just think that where's it at?
At home.
It's at home, so it's at Goodison.
Yes.
I think that may be the last place where it should be because I feel like the environment there is really
Toxic?
yeah. I feel like a lot of them feel like Marco's not the man anymore. I feel like a lot of them have turned on him.
Andre and Tom are gonna get killed.
They could.
It could be a long evening for those two chasing guys around.
They very much could.
Andre has been good though.
Yeah.
He scored a very nice goal in the weekend.
Considering you're coming off the back of no confidence, Barca don't want you. You're coming to the Prem. You don't really know what you're gonna be this season. I think he's been very good. Now whether that leads to a permanent deal, because I don't really see him going back to Barca and having much space there to grow as a player. But then again, now you're bringing on another price tag because he's not making the move for less than 30, 35, maybe 40. Just considering the name and the teams he's played for.
Right.
So do you take on another contract that size? Meanwhile, your back line is shambolic.
We'll see.
So it depends on the direction Everton want to head in.
Well, we will see. But that's a big game for them. Who else? Palace won, and I think they could be fine because
No, I think they will be fine.
Mishi. Yeah, well, yeah, that's because the other team suck. But Mishi came on and actually did well.
Yeah,
He had a couple. He actually should have scored if the keeper didn't make a great save.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it last week, but I feel like that him alone up front, and Benteke's back too. I think he hit the post. Or like an overhead kick or something like that.
Yes.
I can't really remember.
You sure he didn't hurt himself again? Just trying to do that?
Yeah, I was surprised. It's like, whoa. To run it back a few times. I actually almost boomeranged it. I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, I feel like they should be fine. And then there was someone else I want to talk about, but I don't think they really matter.
Your boy got hurt. Danny Ings.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's a surprise.
Yeah,
but
water is wet.
But Nathan scored, right?
Yes, he did.
I think he scored quite a few goals since they changed managers, and he wasn't scoring before, so good for him. And that's all that I think I watched.
You didn't watch Brighton and Watford?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good, because it was 0-0.
Oh, I think the guy, Bobby Reed.
That's why I
asked. Bobby Reed.
yeah, I seen a celebration. Shout out to him.
He looked like he wanted to score last week. And then he scored.
Well,
by the way.
I think every striker looks like they want to score goals, but depends on when you actually score them.
He scored two.
Yeah, he scored two.
Okay.
He looked like he really wanted to score against Arsenal, so I was like, yeah, you better score the week after. Bournemouth, you want to talk about inconsistency? That's the team you need to talk about.
Yeah.
You can't lose 2-0 to Cardiff.
Yeah,
after beating Chelsea 4-0.
Yeah, they scored all their goals for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
They're not scored till March.
Okay, that's enough, Prem.
Dan doesn't want to talk about Serie A. I wonder why.
Okay, you know what? Let me say my piece before.
What do you have to say? Because we got to make this short and sweet. What do you have to say about Juve?
What I have to say about Juve, they better stop leaking goals. Otherwise, Madrid's gonna put 5 past them or something retarded like that, crazy like that.
They're lucky that
Atletico doesn't have 5 goals in them.
I know.
Yeah. They played it.
That's if I'm Allegri, that's a concern, and I had said that before that their backline is not as good as everybody said that they are. Their midfield is not that good either, but their backline right now. If I had to pick between what's more concerning, the backline or the midfield, it's the backline because they are shipping in goals at an alarming rate. And Chiellini coming back, that's not the answer. And Rugani is not as good as it's going to be harsh on him, but I don't think Rugani is as good as people make him out to be.
That's not harsh.
No, well, that's.
Well, he's supposed to be the next guy in line, right?
But he's not. Because if you're the next guy in line, you don't get beat by Gervinho to that front post with a back.
Hey, come on.
heel.
Gervinho scored 3 goals against Juventus this season.
Yeah, I know. Maybe Juventus should sign him.
He's rolling back, the
the
clock.
But yeah, that's for me as a Juventus supporter. I mean, that would be where I would be concerned. The midfield is concerning too, and that midfield is not good enough to win a Champions League. But the defense, you may be able to get through with that defense on Atletico Madrid, but any good team is going to punish you with that back line. And even with Chiellini and Bonucci back, I still don't think that back line is good enough to win the Champions League.
Oh, we know.
Okay.
But
you wanted my take. That's what it is.
And I'm going to say the same thing that I said for Liverpool. You are very much correct.
Thank you.
I've stated
It's odd hearing that.
I've stated that I just don't know about this Champions League this year. I don't know who's gonna win, and that may be the great thing about it. But that's why, as much as I want to say that this Juventus team is not built to win the Champions League, I don't know who is.
Well, at the end of the day, you can make a case for every top team to win, and you can make a case as to why they won't win.
But that's a problem.
Because like I can make a case as to why Barcelona are going to win, but then I can also in the same breath say they're way too reliant on Messi.
But that's the biggest problem. Because in years past, when we actually had some great teams in this competition, there were a few teams where you couldn't make that case for. And that's why I'm a bit skeptical as to how I'm going to approach this. But I agree with you fully. That Juventus performance was everything that I've seen this season without the other team really executing in the final third. We haven't seen teams really
kill them for their mistakes.
Yeah. And they got killed for their mistakes.
Are they a team that plays down or up to their opponent?
No, I don't think so. I can't say that because I don't think they played well at all this season.
No.
I don't think they... So, you know what I'm saying? They played United. And they still did it. Really. They should have killed them off.
In both times.
Yeah. Couldn't do it.
Especially at home.
Couldn't do it. Ronaldo scored twice.
Yeah.
And Rugani scored, right?
Yes.
At least he scores.
That was a nice volley, by the way.
At least he scores, right? Dybala didn't play, right?
No.
Good.
Mandzukic came back, though.
Yeah. Well,
that's a positive.
He was at fault for that last goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to chill.
No, I cut him some slack.
Clear that ball.
Yeah, that's what Allegri said.
Yeah.
Should have put in the stands.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Yeah. At that point,
that's what I like about Allegri. He always says it like he is. He doesn't bullshit. So I respect him for that. And he's a good coach. Let's be honest. Unfortunately, if things don't go, or if things go the way I think it is, this will be his last year at Juve anyway. And I think even regardless of what happens, if they magically win the Champions League or not, I think it's now time for them to walk away. And I would hope, for his sake, that he does win and he can leave on the right terms, because he deserves to leave on the right terms.
Yeah, he's had a good time there, and I was one that was very skeptical about him when he did move there, but he's a perfect coach for that situation where he's able to put the final icing on the cake. And I think that's what he kind of did, because the foundation was built, but they needed to hit another gear, and they needed someone who was pragmatic to handle certain situations in Europe specifically. And he's been able to do it. I mean, he's only lost to teams that were superior to him.
Right.
And the Real Madrids and the Barcelona. So I can't really knock him for that. But we can knock him this year.
Yeah. So if he goes elsewhere, is he capable of being... It's tough to be as successful as he's been at Juventus.
I don't think he could.
Can he go to an AC Milan side and run a project there that potentially leads them to challenge in 2 to 3 years?
I think he would have to go somewhere where he could... he can't start... I don't want him to start from the ground up, because I don't know if he can. Like, let's say it was this year that just started and he went to Arsenal. I don't know how that would work.
No, I don't.
I would...
Does even
let's say the Spurs side well, no, I'm gonna not use Spurs. Let's say somehow Liverpool fired Klopp.
No, I think he's a better fit at Spurs.
Okay, but he doesn't.
No, he would be a better fit at Spurs if he would get some money.
No, that's what I'm saying.
To add to it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, if that Spurs team, if he was able to get a transfer kit, not even that big, but just to add 2 or 3 players, I think he could evolve them to another level.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think he's better fit. If Spurs spent money, I think he's better fit at Spurs than he is at Liverpool. I think Spurs is the kind of club that Max would fit well with.
I only said Liverpool because they're there, but they could take another step. And I feel like if he went there with some money, he could help them get to that next step.
So he doesn't strike me as a guy who would go out of Italy to manage.
He's actually been learning English.
Okay, that's cool.
So
but that's the
I'm
thing,
saying,
right? When coaches switches, yeah,
He just strikes me as the guy who is more comfortable in Italy.
Yeah,
because I feel like the Italian culture and people understand him Whereas you see how Sarri's trying to adapt to the English game and the English media,
Yeah.
and he's not being that respected.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's how I feel in that aspect.
When I look at, let's say, Ancelotti and Conte, and even, I think those two really kind of hit it. That's kind of where I could see him kind of coming in, but it would have to be at the right club, right? And that's the thing. I don't know if he can. And it would have to be the perfect environment for him, so that's the thing.
That's fair.
What else happened in Italy? Apparently Hamsik is going to China.
Yeah, he left already.
Yeah, good for him.
So good for him.
But
Napoli.
you know what? Hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on. I'm not going to say anything. I like Hamsik, even if he played for Napoli, but I don't like what De Laurentiis, as usual, that guy with a big mouth, what he said about him. He's been at Napoli for 14 years, and he kind of takes a side swipe at him, saying, he left. He's now leaving Napoli because he wants to be a rich man in China. I mean,
and
he's right.
He's right. He's right.
So
no, but he's been your captain for 14 years at Napoli.
Don't eat shit.
You can at least give him a little bit of a good goodbye instead of giving him a slap on the face as he's walking out the door.
This is the microwave era.
Yeah,
I guess.
Loyalty. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry. You want to take a check? You ain't shit.
Can you imagine if who's Roma's president's name? I forgot his name. It's escaping my mind right now. Imagine he said something about De Rossi. I feel like De Rossi would find him and punch him in his face.
Yeah. Hamsik.
You know what? If anybody said something about De Rossi, that guy would be leaving Rome
That's what I mean, right?
on a chariot.
So who cares? Yeah, he's gonna go get his money in as he rightfully deserves at this point.
Yeah.
It's not like the coach is giving him minutes there.
No.
So what does it matter?
They had to move on from him, so I'm happy they did.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, I agree. I know where you're going with it, but they had to get minutes somewhere else. They won, by the way, over the weekend.
Yeah, Napoli win and go to 9 points. Inter lose again.
Yeah.
They lost the time, didn't they?
No,
they
Oh,
lost.
they lost. Oh,
They won 1-0 to Bologna.
Honestly, next week.
Inter stink.
Next week, I think it's time.
Inter draw, AC Milan draw, Roma draw.
Yeah.
And now that battle for Europe. So from 4th all the way down to 10th, it's a 9-point gap.
How's Atalanta doing?
Well, they're 5 points back of Inter for 3rd.
There you go.
Next week, that would be great if they did make it. But next week, we're going to have a discussion about Inter.
Do we really want to see Atalanta in Champions League football?
Yep.
Half of their players will just get poached in the summer and they'll be putting out a B-side.
I don't want them to get poached.
Well, that's the purist in us, but we know that that's not going to happen.
They gotta find some loophole to ensure that they get to stay.
Duvon is gone, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Damn. So I guess since Dan just went to Dan, next week we're having a deep dive in Serie A. So
great.
Get prepared for
my
it.
kind of podcast.
Yeah, get prepared for it.
All right.
We go to La Liga. Barca drew.
And then guess what? Guess what happened after that?
Oh, this doesn't only happen in the Premier League. The big teams in La Liga lose too. It was Atletico, and I watched it.
Oh, I did not.
And
Morata's a mush. That's all I'm saying. He's a mush. He goes there and they can't win a game.
No, you can't blame him.
Morata's a mush.
You can't blame him. Griezmann actually didn't play too bad, but boy, did Felipe Luis not like a handball. Griezmann hit the post as well. I mean, it's the same thing with Atletico, just not creating enough chances. And Betis is actually a decent side.
Yeah, they've played well against the big sides.
Yeah, but I thought this was an afternoon where they possibly could have lost, but it just wasn't there. I feel like Morata could work for them, actually.
Well, in time, yeah.
Yeah,
It's extremely difficult to make an impact on your
yeah.
first game
No.
in that environment.
I think it could work. So I'm gonna stay tuned for that. But I had to watch just to see how that unfolded. And then I look at Barca, and
Is that team too dependent on Messi?
well, they've always been dependent on Messi. I could pinpoint to when they weren't, but that's for another day. But they have been for a few years now. I just don't think that they played well.
Some teams, they have their given days where they just don't play well.
Yeah. I just don't think but I also think that Valverde got the shape wrong. And I do think that it was one of the games where they missed Fabs as a guy.
Well, he's proven to, one way or another, be impactful.
Unfortunately.
Leave him alone, man.
Where was he?
He's just getting back from injury.
Yeah.
FIFA tournament?
No, he wasn't away playing Fortnite or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
He's
So-
this one time he's actually hurt.
How important does that make Wednesday? And by the way, a Classico on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
that is absolutely garbage.
we get 2 of them. It happened before.
Garbage.
It's happened. It's
I hate
always
it.
the Copa del Rey.
I
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah. So we get it on the Wednesday. How big is it? Well, when Vinicius and Big Ben's.
He scored again.
Yeah,
by
I
the way.
know. Of course. I told you it's the Ballon d'Or year. Big Ben.
If Luca could win it,
Big Ben's could win it.
I'm gonna say that like every week. for
Big
the
Ben's
next
is
month.
ready. He better show out over the weekend. That'll be a nice game to really see. Especially, I guess, if Messi's not playing. But
But then it also leads into next week, the Atletico and Madrid game.
I
Yeah.
know. I told you. That's why we talk about Liverpool. All these teams got big games, and they're all gonna kill each other. So we're gonna see. But I don't know. Like the Barca game, like I said, Valencia set up well. Barca couldn't really break them down, and they had to rely on. And they were getting hit on the counter, and they had to rely on some Messi magic, more so the winner, but not too impressive. And that's been kind of the MO of their season. They've been great, and there have been times where they haven't been that great, but they've been able to get at least a result.
But it speaks to what we've been saying about Atletico, where even with Barcelona not being fantastic this year,
They're not good enough.
there's not enough there.
No.
And this has been the narrative of this season for this podcast. Like Klopp, we have to look at Simeone. That's just how it goes.
I think it just a lot of these coaches are getting to the end of their leash. Whether that's a them choice, they're getting to the ends of their projects, and them or the team wants to move on. I think Poch is getting to that point. I think Simeone is getting to that point. And depending on how the back half of the season goes, it could be like that for Klopp. I
Yeah.
know nobody's talking about that yet.
A Max too.
Max?
Yeah.
It might be one of the wildest managerial off seasons we've seen in a long time.
Yep.
Could
And
be
Jose's free too.
Yeah, it could be tons of
And
shakeups
Conte.
everywhere.
And Conte, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. But I look at them at Simeone's, and I just don't think he can get any more out of those players. Even when he brings in new players, like Thomas Lemar hasn't had a great season. They shipped off Gelson.
Yep.
The only person that's really benefited is Rodri or Rodrigo. He's got to decide what name which name is his. Like,
Pick one, buddy.
pick one, son.
The only guy who still tucks in his jersey.
You know,
That's going to be his name.
yeah.
Hey,
He's-
no, I know one other guy.
Okay, he doesn't play anymore. If
Who?
that's the guy, who are you referring to?
Piat, who plays for Montreal Impact.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, that was the MLS plug for this week.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as it's
and
going
that's
on
even
over
my
here.
guy.
Yeah.
So we did La Liga. I watched the best game that happened this weekend.
PSG Lyon?
Barring that Milan and Roma could have been great. And we got to shout Piata because he scored again.
Yeah.
I have to. Did I say that I don't know if he's going to score that many goals?
No.
With Milan? I
I
said
think
it
you
last
said
week.
something along those
Okay,
lines.
well, I'll say it next week. Yeah, PSG and Lyon was the best game this weekend, and you guys did not watch it.
No, not for a second.
And you missed a great game. Best game of this weekend.
I
And-
believe it. I'm just not giving that any time.
Oh,
me neither.
you missed out. It was a great game, end to end. Lovely, attractive football, and Lyon won like they did last season. Fortunately, this time, PSG were very lucky not to lose by more because Areola made several saves. And I watched this solely based on the fact that PSG are playing United very soon.
That's fair.
And I know that Lyon can beat PSG at home. And I know that Lyon is not a very good squad, but they're a good side.
Well, they pushed City this year.
They're a good side. And they have a lot of players that probably won't be there next season. I don't care about Memphis. He's a loser. And even Fekir, I see it, but Ndombele is a problem.
A real deal.
Yeah, I think he could be the real deal. And I think they should have at least pushed PSG further this season, but lost 5-0 after players were sent off and whatnot. But this PSG side, barring Di Maria's wild celebration, um, you get everyone don't see United beating them over 2 legs. And I'm just here to say that I'm not going to rule that out. And I would not be surprised if they do. And I also didn't know that Neymar has missed like several round of 16 games around.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I heard.
He's missing the games for his sister's birthday?
No, but I just think that's crazy.
The timing is actually wild.
Yeah, how? Like, what's so crazy
You
about
have
these
that close of a
What's so crazy
relationship?
about these parties? Why do you like your sister so much?
He's definitely fitting the bill for the party.
Yeah, like what's up? What's really going on? Anyhow, they need Neymar. They do.
That's fair.
They do. They really do. Sorry, we could talk that they have Cavani and that they have Mbappe, but without that guy, I don't know if they're able to do what people expect them to
Well,
do.
if everybody's going to be putting that kid on the pedestal, he has to be able to perform without Neymar.
He's not a great finisher. And I know that you develop that with time. And he is very young, but he's not a great finisher. He blew 2 great chances. And this is not the first time I've seen him blow great chances. He blew 2 great chances over the weekend.
It better be this year because this is the last year PSG gets.
But I'm just talking about him in general.
Because he's going to be gone.
His talks have really cooled down. So I'm happy that people have slowed that roll. That is Neymar's team. And they need him at his best. And we can't knock him because whenever he's been asked to play to his best for that club, he has. But he just hasn't been there for the round of 16.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, if they were to get knocked out, I would not be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen. See how I'm smart with that? But
I got to get some sort of a sound for when you stay on the fence or any of us gets on the fence.
But I would not be surprised. No, because everyone, like, they have to win. They're going to win. But there's just nothing in that midfield. It's that, and I guess Verratti has to play. And he has to play somewhat decent. Because you cannot win the Champions League with Marquinhos, Draxler, and Di Maria as your midfield 3. And I think we could all agree there.
Mm-hmm. You might be able to get past United, though. Might be the key word.
Yeah. Big might.
It's not. I was gonna say it's a big game for both sides, but it's not as. It's definitely bigger for PSG to get by than United.
I know.
So the pressure's on them.
Yeah.
There are a lot of players there that it's time for them to perform.
Mm-hmm. I just want to make that clear because I looked at that game over the weekend. Although it was extremely open, PSG could have definitely had their chances on the counterattack, and they possibly should have scored more. But on the flip side, there was just no control. And I feel like Neymar there does create space for other players, and he does have a level of control when the ball is on his feet and when he's dropping deeper. Yes, they are still susceptible to conceding chances on the counterattack, but there's just a big difference when he's there. And if they could lose like that to that Lyon side, United have some guys that could hit you on the counter the same way. You know? And
It's definitely not a one-sided affair.
I know.
And I think without Neymar there, I think those...
It's even things definitely more.
Yes.
I still expect PSG to get by. But
I think
if you told me in the grand scheme of things, can United make an interesting fight, get a result?
Absolutely.
I can't say no.
Absolutely.
Especially not on the run of form that they're in. And that's what we've said this months ago, that when you get to that first game, that first round of 16 match, it depends on the form that you're in. It depends who's there, who's not.
That was the first time they've lost this season in the league.
Yeah, that leaves Juventus as the only remaining undefeated team.
Yeah. Crazy. But that's where I stand with PSG. And big month for Thomas. Big month for Thomas.
Speaking of another coach who might not be...
Well, I think the way things are going, he's going to be there regardless.
Well, he might not want to be there after everybody jumps the ship.
Yeah.
Everybody's jumping ship. If they get knocked out of the Champions League,
they're gone. They're gone. They're all gone.
I cannot see a situation where Neymar and Mbappe are still there. Cavani's getting to that point too.
They're at a point where they can afford to let him go, Cavani.
What if all 3 of them leave?
Well, they get a nice payday and they work through that. I don't think they could be any better with them there. I don't know how much better they could get.
Now you lose the draw of bringing anybody else in. Because then, honestly, if they lose Neymar and Mbappe, they go back to a regular, decent European side. They lose a little bit of that luster.
What's going to happen?
In time, it will.
Yeah.
100%. I just think it's going to happen a lot faster than people assume.
That's fair. I'm not going to argue about what they're going to do or how they're going to be. But the reality is, those players probably will go. It'll be interesting where they do go. And PSG will get a lot of money for it.
Oh, that's for sure.
And, and then they could decide how they plan it. Obviously, they won't be the super club that many people think that they were going to be or think that they are. But I think they'll still have enough money to really work out and put together a decent squad under Thomas, which it just looks like they're looking to build a much younger squad with the players that he's giving chances to, right? But we'll see. They do have a problem with that midfield, and I don't know if they picked up Paredes, or however you want to pronounce his name.
From Zenit?
And he did play, but I think it was just too bit of a small sample size to really
that's fair.
Make an assessment on that yet. But boy, they better hope at least he could do something in that midfield.
Speak of a team that could use an Ndombele.
Yeah.
Switch jerseys, and that makes that team a completely different side.
Exactly. That could be a route that they do go. They could totally poach off a lot of Lyon's players. With that being said, I feel like you guys don't really have much to say. I know we've really hit our time.
Benfica beat Braga, or beat Sporting, sorry.
Yeah.
And then Porto drew, so now the lead's down to 3 points.
Hey.
There we go. We needed that, Fabs.
Thanks.
We really did.
We're just here to I'm here to cover all the bases.
Oh, yeah? Well, Qatar won the Asian Cup. Shout out to them.
Didn't Xavi guess that?
Yeah. You guys think it's a joke? You thought they were going to host a World Cup and not be good? You wait.
They didn't let a goal in.
No.
That guy scored like 13 goals or something like that.
Right. Yeah. You wait till they win Copa America in the summer. Then what are you going to say? Imagine people come to me in the summer and be like, you said Qatar was going to win.
Listen, if there's anybody still listening, Qatar's not winning Copa America.
When they make it to the finals and lose to Chile.
If they get out of their group.
Hey, listen.
When they knock Argentina out in the group stage. Send Messi home crying.
Oh, then he's really going to... If Qatar knock Argentina out, he's really retiring.
Yeah, he's done.
You just wait. Dybala can't save him. You guys got anything else to say, man?
Okay, we've gotten to the part of the show where we're stupid, so it's time for us to go.
You guys got anything else to say?
No.
Nothing?
Nah, I'm good, man.
I'm good.
Well, that was episode 56 of the InnerViews Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to the best soccer/footy podcast in the world, providing you with organic, unfiltered soccer analysis. If you want to listen to previous episodes or the next episode that will probably come out next week, you can find us on iTunes for your Apple devices. You could find us on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And if you have an Android device, whatever Android app that you use, we upload videos every day on YouTube, youtube.com/theinnerviews. Subscribe if you think that we're doing a great job. And even if you don't, make sure that you subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, like and follow and like. We post the podcast there. We also post the videos. If you're not a YouTube person, don't worry, we've got you covered. And on Instagram and on Twitter, you can find us at the InnerViews TV. On Instagram, I post swaggy pictures of myself, or at least where I think I'm swaggy. And on Twitter, I try to retweet the two guys here, Dan and Fabs, when they decide to tweet, because I want them to engage in Twitter beef. But that hasn't happened yet, so clearly I'm not doing my job.
That's
With
right.
that being said, if we've hit everything else that we need to hit, if I plugged out everyone that needs to be plugged out, it was your guy Tyrell.
It's Fab.
Dan.
And we're out.